Hey fam, how are you doing today? So in today's session, let's discuss some lessons from the book Shoe Dog by the co-founder of Nike, Philip Knight. Yeah, Philip Knight. I think that this morning I wrote a brief post about it. I was like, okay, so these lessons are too good, for just a word post. So let's discuss three of the key lessons from his book together. And I think that one of the first lessons that I got from the book was that it's always important to focus on the action, right? Focus on the next line of action, because when you're building a business or when you're going through life, or generally when we are building anything of any sort, there are going to be challenges at a point, right? There was this point when Philip Knight, and then his partner, I think Bauman or so, had just started the shoe business, and then they were bringing shoes in from Japan. And at a point, there was this gentleman who wanted to encroach, the areas, one of the areas where they were making massive sales. And Philip got worried about it. He sat down at home for a few days wondering like what to do about it. And then he said that okay, so the next thing that he needs to do is to take some action, go to Japan, and then go and then meet the people who are producing the shoes for them, right? So yes, so he sat down to worry about it a bit, but then he didn't sit down forever. He had to go ahead and then take some action to see what the next line could be, what could happen, and then whether he could get back the territory that was being encroached upon. And when he went for the meeting, that actually happens. He was able to meet some of the top officials at the company. He spoke to them, told them the situation, told them that, he feels that if they are given that part of the territory, they'll actually be able to make sales. They'll still be able to produce large volume there, So he went to assure them, and then eventually, as he was leaving, they gave him a contract, right? That showed that he was the sole distributor for that part of the state. Now, so that's that's it about him going ahead to take action, right? The fact that he got up, took that flight, and then went, it means that he wanted to do something to resolve the situation. And then now, building upon that point, another interesting thing that happened in that meeting was that when he went, he was asked that, okay, so do you have an office in the east and west coast of America? Because we need our shoes to be there, and are you sure they can handle that? And he said, oh yeah, I have an office in the east coast and the west coast. As at that time, they only had an office on the west coast, none in the east. But then I like the fact that he was audacious enough to to say that okay, I don't have this in place, but I'm going to figure it out, right? Which is something I mentioned in this morning's post. And he actually came back to the States, he figured it out, got somebody to move to the east coast, got somebody at the west coast, and he actually set up in time for the shipments of shoes to come, right? So sometimes you might not see, right? If let's say in that meeting, if he had said, oh no, I don't have the shoe factory, I don't have one in the west coast, we are now starting to set up, maybe he wouldn't have gotten the deal, maybe he wouldn't have been made sole distributor. Nike might not have been where it is today, right? But then he was like, yes, I have it, and then he figured it out. So sometimes we're going to have to say yes and then figure it out later, right? And then maybe a final point I'll share for today is that he really was good at recognizing the strengths of his team, right? And then like really asking them to move to places where he felt would favor them, and then it would also help the company, grow at the end of the day. So he put them in places where he knows that they would love to work, he knows that they would love that challenge, and then it would also help the Nike company grow at the end of the day, So for the most part, his team was, like really strong, really great. There was just this funny incident where he brought the first person to make the Nike apparel, and then this person, like really, really fumbled with that job, and so he moved into a different sector of the company, right? But then I think aside from that, all the people you mentioned in the book were really fantastic and really contributed to the growth of the company. So in our ways, we need to see what our team strengths are, and then see how we can put them in positions where they can make the maximum use of these strengths, right? So that together we can build a stronger company. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much for joining. And the book is totally worth checking out, right? Like it's something that will definitely linger in my mind for long. And so I hope that you do find it really too and enjoy it. It's goodbye for now, fam. Catch you all tomorrow, God's willing.